I want to talk to you guys today about why we are not eating organic right now. Yesterday I bought 45 gallons of strawberries. I kept 5 for myself because I wanted to put up some jam, freeze a few for smoothies this summer, next winter. And I also posted a video about it. You can find that right here or in the description below this video. However, in the comments there were quite a few people saying, talking about the benefits of organic over non-organic and how, strawberries can be one of the worst offenders when it comes to non-organic produce, and I totally agree with that. If you notice at the beginning of this video, I was soaking my strawberries in vinegar water and then rinsing them very thoroughly after they soaked for half an hour. I don't know the statistics or the numbers on how much of the pesticide residue that gets off the strawberries, but I do know at least it gets some of it off. Something to consider too is that I really didn't drive that far to get these, and if I were to just run into Ingles or some other grocery store and buy the organic strawberries, those strawberries have been trucked in or flown in even from thousands of miles away, and you can think about, how that affects the environment. And I realize pesticides also affect the environment. Eating organic isn't just about, having a good life for our own self. One of the main reasons people eat organic is to make our earth cleaner, our streams cleaner, our soil cleaner, not just for ourselves, but for future generations. You also have to think about when you're eating that organic produce, where is it coming from? Is it coming from California, which is where most of our produce comes from, or Chile, or Mexico, or some other really far away places? And how is it getting here? And how many hands are touching it? And how much money is kind of lost in the economy along the way? Anyway, I'm not really here to talk about that because I'm not really eating that much locally grown food right now either. So I want to talk to you guys today about why we are not eating organic right now. And when I say that, I also mean we're mostly not eating local too. There are a few exceptions with that. We buy a lot of local meats because meat, I find, is a lot easier to get deals on. You can go in with other families and buy a whole cow. You can, pretty soon here, I'm about to buy some pastured chicken that I'm getting for $3 a pound for whole chickens, which is pretty good. It's an actually incredible price for pastured chicken, but they're not organic chickens. They've been pastured, but they've not been fed organic feed. So, okay, I'm getting a little long-winded, but what I really want to talk to you guys about today is why we are not eating organically. And I feel like the things I'm going to say are really important to discuss, and they're important for people to think about and talk about, or even, maybe consider doing in their own lives if they have some homesteading goals. I'm probably not going to go into every facet of organic versus non-organic, local versus not local, because that's just so many different conversations and opinions. But I will tell you our story. We haven't always gone the non-organic route, and as a matter of fact, we still eat as much organic as we can afford. However, there was a time when we ate pretty much 100% organic, and in the correct seasons, we'd probably eat 80% local. More or less, just depending on what we could get. We shopped at local tailgate markets as much as possible. We did meat CSAs. We even raised some of our own food. We've raised meat chickens, meat and veggies and stuff, but mostly we would buy our food. And I have to say that the flavor, the quality, and the clean conscience of buying local and organic is far superior to food that has been grown with pesticides, has who knows what on it, and has been trucked thousands of miles to get here, which means it's been picked when it wasn't ripe, and you know, it doesn't have the same flavor and goodness and nutrients as fresh local food. You know, it felt really good to know that my money was going to local families, local farms, and that my children were being fed wholesome, nutrient-rich, non-toxic food. You know, not to mention the fun of just going to tailgate markets, meeting the people growing your food, even going out to the farms and seeing it be grown. But then last summer, and we already lived out here on our little homestead, but last summer I was at the local tailgate market. Every Saturday I would go and I would buy our weekly veggies. My kids are in the back, so if you're hearing screaming, that's what you're hearing. They're fine. So I would go and I would buy my weekly groceries. And I went to go pay for some broccoli, and it was going to be $16. $16 for a side of broccoli. And in that moment, I thought to myself, how much broccoli could I grow myself for $16? Probably quite a bit. More than one evening's side dish of broccoli, that's for sure. Granted, it was gorgeous broccoli. It was rich green. You could smell the smell of it, and I know the flavor was amazing because I had bought it before. But just in that moment, for some reason, that moment, it struck me how much money I was spending on food. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not saying that that farmer doesn't deserve her $16 for her broccoli. But I just realized in that moment that if I was going to actually grow my own broccoli, if I was actually going to have my own chickens, have my own vegetable garden, have my own fences for my animals, somewhere in the budget something was going to have to be cut. So later on that day, actually that very night, I sat down. I thought, wow, where are we going to get the money to have a homestead? Because homesteading, it's not free or cheap, at least not initially. I do think that the expense goes down once your infrastructure is in, and once you have knowledge to be frugal, like with saving seeds and you know, having broody hens, and you know, knowing how to breed your animals, having your own bull, having your own hay. I mean, there's just so many ways that a homestead actually can be self-sustaining. That takes a lot of money to get there though in this day and age, and when you've never done it before, and when you're just starting from scratch, which is what we've been doing. When I looked at our budget, we were already living a pretty frugal life, except with our food. We don't go out to eat much. We don't go to the movies. We don't really buy new clothes, you know? And so I could see a couple of places here and there where I could tweak things, but the only place I could see a significant way to reduce our expenditures was in our food budget. And it killed me. It killed me. But I just decided that I would wash our food really, really well and start buying non-organic food from Aldi. And I really did not like Aldi at the time. Now I am so thankful for Aldi. At the time, I was like, Aldi is the epitome of all things that I don't like with this world and our economy and our food system. But it made sense to me, and it still makes sense to me, for us, in order to grow our own local, organic, sustainable food, more nutritious than anybody else's, because it's coming out of our own backyard, out of our own land. The only way that was going to happen was going to be to save money somewhere. So I took our food budget, which was supposed to be like $1,000 a month for a family of 6, but I pretty much always went over. So it was like $1,200 a month. Crazy high. It was crazy high. And I started talking to some friends who I knew shopped at Aldi and various things, and asked them what their food budgets were. And I was shocked when they told me. A lot of them, one girl even said for her family of 4, now that's different, but it was still like $75 a week. Oh my gosh. There's no way we can eat for that unless we just never eat wholesome food. However, I decided on getting our budget down to about $175 a week. And mostly I do that. It's a little bit less in the summer because prices go down. It's a little bit more in the winter because prices go up. And hopefully, I don't know, we're kind of behind on our garden this year, but I know that within the next 3 years, we're going to be getting most of our vegetables, our spring, summer, and fall vegetables from our garden. And we're going to have a lot of that stored up for winter. So that's the reason we don't eat organic, guys. Money. Money is the reason. And I'm not saying that farmers shouldn't charge what they charge for their food. But what I'm saying is that my family wants to grow our own food. And in order to do that, we need to have some extra cash to put fences in, to somehow get a back to Eden garden going, though even before that, we're gonna have a garden. You know, to get the ball rolling on the various things it takes to grow your own food. And that's exactly what we've done. It's a slow process. It's a frustrating process sometimes because I want to be out there every day because I want to be out in my garden every day right now, picking my spinach, picking my lettuce, picking my sugar snap peas, pulling up carrots, pulling up beets because I could because of where we live. I could totally be harvesting broccoli and cauliflower. You can get some water. Okay. And all sorts of spring goodness, except one thing. I don't have a fence around my garden. And between our goats and our chickens and honestly just the wild deer being the biggest issue, there's no point in planting anything until we get our fence up. And fences are not cheap, no matter which route you go with a fence. But we have to have an amazing fence because of our deer issue. And we are not going to go into the back-breaking work of putting a garden in until that's resolved. So instead we're doing the back-breaking work of putting a fence in. Or Arthur is, I'm not so much. I'm just supporting. I'm the supporting person. So do I think that taking a season, reducing our food costs so that in the end we can grow our own local organic food is the right decision? I most certainly do. And I really think that everybody, each family, needs to make choices, you know, that best suit their own family. Am I 100% supportive of a local food culture, of local sustainability, of local economy? I am totally supportive of that. But for right now, I am mostly supportive of getting our family into a position where we are doing those things for ourselves and on our own land. I hope you guys enjoyed my video today on why we are not currently eating 100% organic. And I hope it gave you some food for thought as well. We would love to hear in the comments what sacrifices you guys are making to reach your homestead goals or dreams, or even other goals and dreams. It could be a lot of different things. You could be working a second job. I mean, that's what YouTube is for us, kind of, is, you know, creating another income so that we can support our homestead, at least getting it off the ground. It was another great day on the homestead. I have 5 gallons of strawberries still to put up, so we'll see you guys in tomorrow's video.